Welcome to the video on expanding brackets. Now, if you remember, we've already practiced expanding single brackets. That will be a number or a letter or combination outside of a bracket that multiplies everything inside the bracket. So that would give us 3x squared minus 3xy. But what we're going to look at today is double brackets and other combinations. If you want more practice at any of these, go to the TJ Maths book, page 14 to 19, or use any of the other resources that I've put on the website already for you. We're going to use a technique, first of all, called FOIL, which is first, outside, inside, and last. This also has another way of doing it called face, but I'll show you how that comes about in a second. So if we start off with x plus 5 and x plus 3 as our two brackets, what we're going to do is multiply the first by the first, so x times x is x squared. I could technically use an equals sign here, but I prefer to use the becomes arrow. And then we're going to do outside. Because I've got pluses on both, I know all my answers are going to be plus. So outside, x times 3, which gets me 3x. Inside, 5 times x. And then last, 5 times 3. Now, what I want you to do at this point is to collect your like terms. So you can see here that we've got 5x plus 3x, or 3x plus 5x. So we can collect them together. And that will be our solution. Next thing I want you to do is have a little squint at your screen, just at this top section here, and see if you can see what I'm talking about. When I look at that, I see a little chubby faced child with glasses, and that is why it gets called face. We have our eyebrows, we have our nose and our mouth. So you can remember foil, or you can remember it as face. And through the rest of this video, I will be referring to it as face. It's my preferred method. Right, so I want to look at another one. And this time, I'm going to look at what happens when we have a negative in there. So if we have x plus 3 times x minus 1, and we have a look what happens. So we are going to do our face, we're going to do our eyebrows, our nose, and our mouth. This is just a way of making sure that you always remember to do everything. So eyebrows, x times x is x squared. Nose plus 3x. Mouth minus 1x, which we would write as minus x because we don't write 1 of something. And then finally, our last eyebrow, 3 times minus 1, so that's minus 3. Remember, a positive times a negative becomes a negative. And again, we need to tidy this up. So we have got 3x minus x. We have got x squared plus 2x minus 3. I want to show you what happens if you rearrange, well, if you come across one that's a bracket squared. So if we have, just for the sake of making it a bit harder, if I have 3x plus 4 all squared. Well, if you remember, when you square something, what you're doing is multiplying it by itself. So what we've really got there is 3x plus 4 times 3x plus 4. And then you just use the same techniques as we've been doing. So we do our eyebrows, and we'll do our nose and mouth. So starting with the first eyebrow, 3x times 3x. Well, 3 times 3 is 9, and x times x is x squared. Nose, 4 times 3x. 4 times 3 is 12. So I've got plus 12 and x. Mouth, 4 times 3x. So I've got another 12x. And then finally, 4 times 4 for my other eyebrow is 16. And again, this bit here can be tidied up. So I've got 9x squared plus 12 plus 12 is 24, lots of x, plus 16. Now, one of the traps people often fall into is forgetting this is just an addition here. So it's not going to be an x squared, it's just adding. Now, I want to show you what this means and how it's useful. So I'm going to take this off. I'll leave the little face up the top for you to remind you. So if I have a rectangle, and what I've got is sides of 3x plus 1 and x plus 5. The perimeter, the outside edge of a shape, of a rectangle, trust me, this is supposed to be a rectangle, perimeter can be found by adding up all the sides. So because it's a rectangle, that side's the same as that side, that side's the same as that side. So I've got 2 lots of x plus 5, and I've got 2 lots of 3x plus 1. And what I need to then work out is, what does that become? Multiply out your brackets, collect your like terms. So I've got 2x plus 10 plus 2 times 3x is 6x plus 2. Collect my like terms. I have got 8x plus 12. Okay. Now, if you're asked to simplify and collect the like terms, you can leave it in that format. Any work after that might lose you points. So it's perfectly fine, unless it tells you to put it back into a bracket. Leave it like that. So that's perimeter. Now let's look at area. Now the area of a rectangle is length times breadth. or length times width if you prefer, or height. And in this case, we've got 3x plus 1 on one side and x plus 5 on the other. So our area is going to be 3x plus 1 times x plus 5. And we just do the same as we've done up the top here. We do our eyebrows and we do our nose and mouth. And that will give us 3x times x, which is 3x squared. Nose is 1x, which is just x. The mouth is 5 times 3, which is 15x. And finally we have 5 times 1, which is 5. And again here, we can collect these like terms. So what we've got in the end is 3x squared plus 16x plus 5 as our area. Now the reason I'm showing you these is because you will need to know how to do these for the assessment that's coming up in November. So if you have access to the book, there's a couple of them in the book that's worth a try at. We will have a look at some in class as well before the actual assessment day. One of the other ones that they like to give you, if I can get that all off, I'll take that off as well now. You should be getting used to the idea. They like to do something along the lines of, let's see, 2x minus y times x squared minus y squared. This last one's actually famous. You're going to come across it shortly when we're factorising back into brackets. It's a rubbish too. There we go. But you'll do the same technique as we've been doing. So eyebrow to eyebrow, 2x times x squared, so that's 2. X squared times x, so that's x cubed. Nose, I've got minus x squared times y, so x squared y. And then mouth, I've got 2x y squared, but it's minus 2x y squared. And then the final eyebrow, I've got minus times a minus. If you remember our conversation about that, that becomes a plus. So we have y times y squared, which is y cubed. Now I can't actually collect any like terms here because there are no like terms. X squared y is different from xy squared. So that would be the end of that. Right. I want to show you the rainbow method next. The rainbow method can be used on standard double brackets, but it's handy and really comes into its own when you're dealing with bigger brackets. So let me try not to cover myself in pen here. If we have x plus 2 times x squared plus 4x plus 1, what we get when we do the rainbow method is you rainbow it out. So first times first, and then times the next, and then times the next. So we would have, I'll write it in red actually, x times x squared gives us x cubed. X times 4x, so we get 4x squared. And x times 1, we get 1x. And then we rainbow out our other one. So we get 2 times x squared, so 2x squared. 2 times 4x, that's 8x, and 2 times 1, so that's 2. Now we need to collect our like terms and tidy it all up. So that becomes, we've got one lot of x cubed. We've got 4x squared plus 2x squared, so that's 6x squared. X plus 8x is 9x. Remember to be watching out for any negatives. We don't have any in this question, but you do need to remember they still follow the number that they're attached to. And then we have plus 2 on the end. And that's our final answer. I'm going to do one more harder one, and then I'll show you what happens with cubes. So if we have 6x minus 2 times 2x plus 4 minus 3x plus 3 all squared. What we have there is a whole jumble and several techniques we're going to need to do with a lot of collecting like terms at the end. So let's start with the first bit. Oops. Do my little face. 6x times 2x is 12x squared. Minus 2 times 2x is minus 4x. 4 times 6x, 4 times 6 is 24, that's plus 24x. And minus 2 times 4 is going to be minus 8. And now I need to deal with my next bit. So I'm going to, at the moment, just leave it as minus 3x plus 3 times 3x plus 3. And on the next line, you can take as many lines as you need for this. So if you want to finish this off and then deal with the next one, that's fine. On my next line, I'm going to tidy up here. So I'm going to have 12x squared minus 4 plus 24, lots of x's. So I've got plus 20x minus 8. I'm going to keep this minus at the front here. I'm going to put a bracket here so that I don't lose what's going on. Right, and I'm going to do my eyebrows and my mouth and nose. So 3x times 3x is 9x squared. 3 times 3x is plus 9x. And 3 times 3x is plus another 9x. Plus 3 times 3 is 9. This one was actually taken directly from a book, so I didn't deliberately choose to have lots of 9s. Right. So again, that bit's going to need tidying up. Once I've done that, I'm going to deal with the minus. So I've got 12x squared plus 20x minus 8 minus bracket 9x squared. 9x plus 9x is 18, so plus 18x plus 9 on the end. Now this minus at the front of the bracket here is going to change the signs of everything inside the bracket. It's the same as multiplying right through by minus 1. So what I've really got is 12x squared plus 20x minus 8 minus 9x squared minus 18x minus 9. And now I need to tidy up that mess. So I have got, I'm going to keep track here, 12x squared minus 9x squared. 12 minus 9 is 3, x squared. Plus 20x minus 18x. 20 take 18 is 2, so that's plus 2x. And then finally, minus 8 minus 9. Because we're subtracting and not multiplying here, that becomes a minus answer. 8 add 9 is 17, so minus 17. And that's our final answer. So this whole complicated thing became this simple equation. Let's say simple. Right. One last one. And then I need to go get a drink of tea. We're going to look at what happens when you have cubes. So if I have x minus 2 cubed, what I've got there is x minus 2, the bracket, multiplied by itself 3 times. So I have x minus 2 times x minus 2 times x minus 2. So what I'm going to do is first of all multiply out the second 2 brackets. It doesn't matter which order you do them in. I prefer having my smaller bracket on the front. So for me, it's easier to do x minus 2 on the front times whatever this bracket gives me, and then take it further using the rainbow method. So x minus 2, and then I am going to do face on this one. So I have times x squared minus 2x minus 2x, minus times minus is plus, so plus 4. And I can write that out again to take it down another line and tidy up that bracket. X squared minus 2 is minus 4 lots of x plus 4. Then I'm going to rainbow it out. So I have x times x squared, so x cubed. X times minus 4x is minus 4x squared, and x times 4 is 4x. And then I'll go to my other rainbow, and remember this is a minus 2 here. So I've got minus 2 times x squared, so that's minus 2x squared. Minus 2 times minus 4 is plus 8x's. Minus 2 times 4, so that's minus 8. And now I just need to collect all my like terms. I have got x cubed sat out the front. I've got minus 4x and minus 2x squared here. So minus 4x squared minus 2x squared is minus 6x squared. Remember, we're adding and subtracting at this point, not multiplying. Don't be tempted to times your numbers. And then we have plus 4x plus 8x, so we have plus 12x minus 8, and we have our solution. And I'm going to leave us there with this video.